welcome to Mexico. Thank you for being here. Bienvenidos a México.
Thank you.
As you probably know now, we love you here. You probably noticed going to, probablemente te diste cuenta yendo a Bellas Artes.
Bien, sí, obviamente.
Y Sydney, I read that the director Michael Mohan said that this was an instant classic when he first read the script. So this is a question for both of you. What do you think is what makes this film a classic, and what horror elements did you get to squeeze in that you were really looking forward to take your hands on?
My main and biggest request was to be drenched in blood by the end of the movie. So that was my main ask for the film. I think that there's so many elements in it that make it, hopefully, an instant classic. I mean, it's cinematic, it's beautifully shot. We had an amazing DP, Elijah Christian. Alvaro's absolutely incredible in it. I'm so thankful for you to be in this film with me. And just we pulled a lot from like 70s horror films, so like the jump scares and different elements throughout the film that we kind of wanted to bring back the nostalgia of horror in this iteration.
Drinks from the classic horror movies from the 70s and the beginning of the 80s, but it also has a twist, a modern, necessary twist that I think it's very important nowadays.
¿Todo bien allá?
¿Todo bien? ¿Sí?
¿Están bien?
Okay. So yeah, I think it has a perfect balance in terms of, between the classic, basis movie and a modern one.
So my question is, how did you prepare to portray the emotional and spiritual complexity of Cecilia? And what challenges did you encounter when exploring the darker aspects of her journey?
So I have this process for each one of my characters where I build out their entire life story and their backstory in these books. And I create their timelines, their memories, their relationships, everything, so that it enables me to just kind of jump into this character's mind and not have to plan or think it out. Like I know how that person's going to move or feel or react to something because I know who this person is. For Cecilia, I did that, and it just was such an amazing journey watching her grow on screen, because she becomes such an active, strong character, and you don't expect that because she's so, in the beginning, innocent and naive almost. And some of the hardest stuff was actually more of the technical parts, where when we were running in the field or in the catacombs, just because it was more time-consuming and technical than anything.
Debo decir que Francesca, la estilista que hizo el vestuario, hizo un trabajo absolutamente impresionante, y a mí, imagino que como a cualquier actor, me ayuda mucho vestir al personaje, y Francesca me ayudó mucho en ese sentido. Me puso una sotana y fue capaz de confeccionar una sotana que era casi sexy, incluso. Es como, wow, venga, vamos a ello. Y sí que es verdad que saltas al personaje desde un punto de vista, para mí fue como casi saltar al vacío, porque a mí me llama Sweeney, me llaman de la producción y empiezo a grabar la película en muy poco tiempo. Yo a la semana después de recibir aquella llamada ya estaba en Italia y estaba grabando la película, y saltar dentro del personaje del padre Tedeschi fue como una especie de salto al vacío, pero la verdad es que estuve muy bien rodeado por todo el equipo allí en Italia. Debo decir que, siendo español, trabajar en Italia es casi como trabajar en casa, y fue, la verdad es que, como, relativamente sencillo meterme en el personaje de esa forma.
I think it's, for me, I always am drawn to characters and stories that have either characters that you can't trust, or they have an emotional battle that they are dealing with within, that they might discover something new about themselves, and it's or a character that it's hard to like and you have to find empathy for that character. So for Cecilia, I loved this challenge that she went on, because she believed something so much, and she was challenging her own faith. And it's really interesting to uncover the different layers to what happens to a person when what she believes in so much starts to fall apart.
Yo, for me, I have to say, first of all, that I don't like to watch horror movies at all. I love to do them, but when I got the script, it's like, oh, come on, horror movie, really? And I read it. And reading it, I have to say that I had a lot of fun, but the main thing was that I realized that the movie wasn't just an entertainment movie. It was also putting on the table a few themes that I think it's completely necessary nowadays to talk about them, in terms of feminism, in terms of, in this convent, you know, it's a world full of women controlled by just one man. You know, the man controlling a woman's body, motherhood. I mean, there were many things that interested me a lot to be part of this project. Not just doing a production, a movie, whatever, but I believe that it was, you know, it's not exactly a movie just about that, you know, it's not the main thing in the movie, I think. But it's so nice that you can get out of the theater when you finish the movie and you have tools to get a proper conversation, you know, about important things nowadays. And, you know, maybe not all of them, but most of them are related to the women, yes.
Or filmmakers to create a similar path as you have done?
Don't take the answer no. Because I auditioned for this movie 10 years ago. They didn't make it, I didn't get it. And I could have taken that and just let it disappear and go, but I knew that I really wanted it and I wanted to make it, and so I pushed through any barriers and just made it happen. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's not as easy as just that. It was 10 years of trying to put the puzzle pieces together, get the script, get the right team, financing, locations, actors, everything. But you can do it if you set your mind to it. I read a lot. I think reading's really important.
Well, I don't know. It's a question of just, you know, being alive when you're on the set. Just, it's a good thing.
I hope so.
Existir, básicamente, es la respuesta, ¿no? Existir, ok, muy bien. Siguiente pregunta. Acá. Perdón que lo señale, pero es para que los encuentren rápidamente.
Hi guys, this is Araceli Garcia. I'm from El Universal. Congratulations, this is a great movie. You kind of answered this question, Alvaro, but you can maybe elaborate a little bit more. As an actor, what challenges does a horror film like this represent, and what drew you to the character?
And what?
What drew you to the character?
Me lo dices en castellano que no te entiendo, perdóname.
¿Qué te atrajo al personaje? ¿Sí?
Me vais a disculpar, pero sigo sin entender.
¿Qué te llamó la atención del personaje?
No acabo de entender.
¿Qué te atrajo del personaje?
Ah, bueno, vale, perdón.
¿Sí lo dije bien? Muy bien.
Pues bueno, los retos a los que te encuentras es encontrar un personaje al que puedas darle un arco interesante desde el principio hasta el final de lo que es la historia. Efectivamente te basas en el guión, en lo que está escrito, pero hablando con Michael Mohan, que es el director, me permitió aportar una serie de cosas que a mí me interesaban dentro del padre Tedeschi, y fue muy cómodo trabajar con él porque sí que pudimos pulir más todo ese arco de personaje. Para mí el gran reto era enfrentarme a un personaje que arranca la película diciendo que él empezó su carrera dentro del mundo de las ciencias y que luego hay un momento en el que encuentra el mundo de la fe. Y claro, eso ya de entrada te da un abanico muy amplio, de colores muy distintos para poder experimentar dentro del personaje. Para mí lo que hacía avanzar al personaje, sobre todo, era encontrar el punto medio entre esos dos mundos para que desde ahí partiera el motor que lleva el padre Tedeschi hacia adelante a lo largo de toda la película. Fue un poco también complicado, pero es Es muy gratificante también trabajar en esa dirección, cuando tienes que dejar al personaje en un punto de equilibrio muy fino, en el que no sabes si puedes confiar en él o si has de desconfiar de él, no sabes si te está diciendo una verdad, si te está diciendo una mentira, si lo que quiere es controlarte. Los personajes que tiene a su alrededor tienen que entrar también en ese punto de equilibrio, y eres tú junto al director el que eres el responsable de crear esa estructura narrativa desde el personaje. Y sí, yo creo que ese fue el punto más difícil de encontrar al padre de Tedeschi sobre todas las cosas.
No, I'm picking up a few words every so often.
You probably heard him say.
It's a lot of hard work.
You guys are amazing. And actually, I do have a question for you, because I feel like these characters have such a peculiar lifestyle, you know, like being a nun, being a priest. What was the most interesting thing you found out about that, about how they live and what they do and the practices they have?
Well, this was a very specific convent, because it wasn't, I've always looked at it where it's separate from the church, and so they don't follow every step of the way or every rule that a normal nun or a normal priest would have. But for Cecilia, I mean, for her, especially when she comes to a convent in a different country, there were so many new moments that she had to experience, whether it was chopping a chicken's head off or taking care of the elderly nuns. And I never knew that there was so much caregiving that went into it, and that was really interesting.
My name is Daniela from Estilo DF, and for both of you, in the movie, the locations are stunning, but at the same time, they are kind of eerie. So were there any spooky anecdotes that occurred during filming? Thank you.
Spooky.
Like Alvaro has been saying, it was so much fun. But the locations they definitely lent a hand to the atmosphere of the film. I mean, Villa Parisi that we filmed in, beautiful, absolutely stunning. The murals on the walls, hundreds and hundreds of years old, but there's no electricity. So if we weren't filming in a certain room at night, the rest of the villa was pitch black. And walking through that villa at night, and you see the eyes on the walls follow you as you walk, it does get a little eerie. And then
It was me, I'm sorry.
Hiding in the shadows.
yeah, no. So all the locations did lend a hand to that. The catacombs, though, those were
Yeah, but the feeling was all the time like, I feel so lucky that I am surrounded by people.
yes.
Will resonate most with the audience, and what makes them particularly impactful? Thank you.
It's clear for me.
Which ones are for you?
I mean, the end of the movie,
Yeah.
the very end scene in the movie, the final scene, I think is like, you cannot forget it when you get out of the theater. I mean, it's so shocking. Of course, there are all the things in the movie that you're going to remember, but that last scene, I think, is something. I don't know if you've seen the movie already, but yeah. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that last scene, I think, will stick with some people. I think there's going to be different themes for everybody. I think that there's going to be different messages that people take away from the film, whether they just take away the fun it was and the scares they had, or what they might perceive the ending to be, or the messages throughout. I think that's what's exciting, is to hear the conversation surrounding it.
And talking about that scene, I feel like what it does is that it allows you as an audience member to, picture whatever you want to picture. But I have a question, you don't have to give much away. Do you know how that looked like? Do you have an answer? Don't describe it. I just want to know if you were given directions on what that looked like.
So we actually had something created.
Okay.
But I will never say what it is. And in my own mind, I had an idea of what Cecilia pictured. But a fun fact about that scene is what you guys see is the first take.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a performance, girl. That's
Thank
crazy.
you. Thank you. Try not to laugh as much. We were having so much fun.
So complicated.
No, seriously, like we're supposed to be screaming and crying.
I'm remembering things that I cannot talk about, so yeah, it's complicated to answer this question.
We're gonna keep
But
this
yeah,
secret.
definitely, we had really. Sometimes it's something that you say in every movie you do, but we were laughing a lot. Maybe I was saying yesterday in other interviews, maybe because of the fact that it's a horror movie. It's like you, at least I approach to the project in maybe to get the balance in a completely opposite way or feeling. If I'm gonna make a horror movie, I need to have fun, and I'm going to the set every day like making jokes continuously and trying to conform kind of a good environment to make it easy. It's a hard thing to make a movie, and if you enjoy what you do, it's always going to be better in terms of quality. So we were always trying to, make people feel comfortable. It's easy with Italian people because they have a huge sense of humor, and we were just, having fun a lot of, I would say, the whole time in the movie.
Do you realize that as you were having fun, we were having horror dreams after watching this film?
Yeah, but that's the point. That's the point. You
That's what
do
makes it cool.
something which is completely fake.
We were laughing because we're like, we're gonna scare him.
Yeah.
I could tell.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Todos de pie.
Okay. Tell me you're coming from
Is
the
this
Vatican.
real?
Yes. Yes.
You watched it?
Yes. I love it so much.
Oh, okay. Is this a costume or is this real?
I hope it's real.
I don't want
We're gonna
to
be blessed.
lose the hope, but it's a cosplay, yes. I love so much the film. It's an honor to meet you both. This question is for both of you. There has been a lot of controversy with the film release about the conservative audience, especially with the ending and the image of Jesus in the film. What was the process of releasing the film like, regardless of the comments that its audience might make?
What is the process of the, I'm sorry.
What was the process of releasing this film, like, regardless of the comments that a conservative audience might make to you?
I mean, personally, I love making a film that makes people want to speak and have different opinions. Not everybody's going to agree. That's okay.
I would say that, that you as a priest will understand this. We've done a movie not about the church, not about religion. We've done a movie about a specific story that happens to a very specific girl in a very specific convent. So if anyone get offended or something, personally I say I'm so sorry about that. It wasn't our intention, but the movie is not about that.
Truthfully, the movie was actually originally set in Ireland and a all-girl boarding school. So it was more of just when I was finally able to make the script 10 years later, it didn't make sense for me to be in high school anymore. So we changed the entire location and the environment. And for Cecilia's story, just that setting lent a hand to being able to add production value to the project.
You said it was set in Ireland?
Yeah.
We missed the Scotch scene. You're pregnant. Hey!
Cheers.
Cheers.
Antes de que te sientes, no sé si de sacerdote a sacerdote se quieran dar una bendición. Gracias.
Thank you.
Muy bien.
I'm allowed back.
What do you consider the most terrific aspect with the religion?
Okay, I'll go for it.
Estaba esperando así.
You know that I'm from Spain. I grew up in
Really?
a small... Yeah, I am. Yeah, sure. I know I look like Canadian, but I'm from Spain. And I grew up in a small village in the south of Spain, in Andalusia, a gorgeous place. And we had this Semana Santa, as you know, and we have all these parades with all these beautiful images. People from all around the world are coming to Spain to see this expression of art. But it's a creepy thing. I mean, it's kind of dark. It was done centuries ago, I believe, with a purpose, with a message to the people. And they were very related to the suffering of Christ. So if you suffer, you get close to the image of Jesus and all this stuff, you know. When you are 7, 8 years old and you go to the street and you see those dark things, it's so terrifying. So the image, the iconography, it's already there. It's already connected. We didn't invent it, create anything new. It was already there. And there's another thing that I think that connects the religion with horror movies, which is, I was actually yesterday talking about that, which is the conception of the faith itself, which means that you believe in something that you don't know for real, if it's true or not, you know? Empirically, it's not demonstrated the existence of God, but you believe in God. So, in a way, you believe in the unknown. And it's a mechanism that it used to be used in a horror movie, you know? That thing that you don't control, that thing that you don't really know, it's something that can scare you. So I think it's perfectly connected. It's a wonderful universe to jump into it to tell a horror movie.
When I was reading the script for the very first time, 10 years ago, the part that scared me the most was the idea that someone could be as mad as Father Tedeschi and think that they could take DNA from an artifact and try and create what they think will save the world. Will it save it? Will it destroy it? And that is what always stuck with me, was the idea of us idolizing different things and being mad enough to try and recreate it.
Kind of.
That's a really good question. I thoroughly enjoy both. I love learning, and right now, especially when it comes to producing different projects, like, I'm learning so much, and I really enjoy that process. But they're both different and the same in their own way. Like, for acting, I get to build a character's world, and it's so creative, and I use my imagination. And then for producing, like, you get to build an entire world, not just one character. And it's like a puzzle that you have to put together. And I feel like I'm using two different sides of myself. So I don't know if I have a favorite. I've never really, I don't know. I guess we'll see in like 20 years what I do more. Oh my gosh. He doesn't like horror films.
Okay. Maybe a scary movie.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4, 5, which one?
I mean, it's not important. Scary movie, definitely.
Have you seen those?
I'm sorry.
Honestly,
Yeah, but
it'd be hilarious.
yeah, why not? Father Tedeschi in Scary Movie, just, you know, with all these lab things around, like, I'm gonna make you be pregnant. And And you, Sydney?
Sydney, will you produce that?
I don't know if I would produce that. I'd watch it. Gosh. I'm like thinking, like, would I want to be in Rosemary's Baby? Would I want to be in
Sister Cecilia.
Sister Cecilia could thrive, I think, in something like Halloween. She'd run fast and then turn around and murder them all.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't catch her.
Absolutely, yeah.
When we were filming, he couldn't catch me.
I'm thinking, I don't know. I'll tell you later.
The relationship between characters seems to be a fundamental aspect of Inmaculate. How do you approach building chemistry between your characters, and how do you hope this dynamic will resonate with the audience?
So, what's really fun and interesting fact is Alvaro and I actually met prior to us filming. We met in Spain at an award gala, and we were sitting right next to each other and started talking. And at that time, the next day, I was flying to Italy to start location scouting. And the entire time I was sitting there, because we had such great chemistry, and huge fan of him as El Professor, I was sitting there going, oh my God, he could be Father Tedeschi. And the next day I landed, and the first thing I said to my entire team was, I know exactly who we need to hire. It's Alvaro Morte. And just right off the bat, Alvaro and I worked really well together.
There was some kind of connection there from the beginning, because in that gala, it was a dinner. It was a huge table. We were there sitting down, like 12, 14 people around the table. In the very beginning of the dinner, before the dinner, I was like, I'm going to meet all these people. I mean, we're going to have dinner together. So, I mean, at least I'm going to shake their hands or whatever and say, hey, I'm Alvaro, what are you doing? And I came into Sydney, and I was like, hey, how you doing? I love your work. And she was like, hey, I know your work as well, and very good, whatever. So then we were sat down, and there were some people in the middle. When you have such a big table, you don't talk to the people who is over there. You talk to people, surrounding you. So actually, what I mean is that we shared like just a few words. I mean, it wasn't a whole night having dinner, but it was, it was something there. And
You probably thought I was crazy.
yeah, and I mean, Sydney and Michael and the production, they called me. We made this Zoom. They were in Italy. I was in Madrid. They said to me, come here tomorrow. I said, no way. It's Christmas time, so just wait a little, just a few days. But I just flew there, and I have to say that from the very beginning we had some kind of, I don't know, I remember the first day shooting, and we had this scene when we realize the Sister Cecilia is pregnant, and we are in front of a window, and I'm whispering into your ear, and it's a kind of a small scene, but I remember looking into our eyes and with Michael, director, saying like, okay, this could work. We're gonna have fun doing this. Yeah.
What sparked your passion for horror films?
My dad. My dad is a huge fan of horror films. It's like the only thing he watches. And so from a young age, he had me watching films with him, and I fell in love. Halloween's his favorite holiday. So my dad, I have to thank him for it.
I watched The Exorcist and The Shining when I was like 12 years old. I couldn't sleep for months, so I haven't watched a horror movie ever since.
Till Immaculate.
Of course.